Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be going over what exactly is the 10,000 hour rule. So this is something I learned from Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. It was, I think, chapter 2, the 10,000 hour rule. And so pretty much what exactly is it, right? So the idea is pretty much that you have to go ahead and spend about 10,000 hours or more on a specific area to really master that pretty much area field, right? So, for example, they use, I think it was violinists, where they say their research suggests that once a musician has enough ability to get into a top music school, the thing that distinguishes distinguishes one performer from another is how hard he or she works. So pretty much is that at first it starts off with the person actually having some sort of significant talent, but over time, what's really the driving force is having enough time to really execute and practice on those different things. So, and the idea being that you want to have over 10,000 hours of practice, again, in that career field. They also go over about an example with Bill Gates and how he did programming all the way from when he was in 8th grade, and that's all he did from 8th grade up until like his pretty much till Harvard, and he dropped on. He still kept working on the business, but he pretty much had like those five-ish years to really just program, because it goes into a little backstory with Bill Gates and how he was pretty much able to program in high school, even though like I think it was 70s, that wasn't a very common thing to do. I forget what they call it, it's like the speed programming, because before what we know today as programming, there used to be like these punch cards that you had to go ahead and punch in pretty much your cards to execute the program. But with him, he had all these different opportunities to really pretty much go ahead and practice, and where for those 5-6 years, all he did was program, and it pretty much shows how, because he did over 10,000 hours of actually programming and practicing his craft, he was able to become, I guess the idea, an outlier, right? Become this great superstar in programming. And the same idea with what was his name? Mozart? Let me double check. I think it's either Mozart or Beethoven. No, it was Mozart. I remember. So it was Mozart. So talking about how actually his first works in his composition were actually not apparently that great, according to the musicians that examined it, and a lot of them were just like sort of one-offs from other people that had also done compositions apparently, but because he started so young, over time he was able to get better and practice, and so his really big masterpiece didn't really come till, I believe they said around his when he was about 20 years old. And so again, the idea comes from, I think he started when he was about like 3 or 4 years old, right? And the idea comes from putting in 10,000 hours of practice into something to really master that craft. So he wanted to master, music and that whole field. So he did it from when he was 3-4 years old and continued to practice and build in that field. And then from there, over time, he continued to grow and really develop his skills. So the 10-hour rule is 10,000 hour rule. Sorry, not the 10-hour rule. 10,000 hour rule, again, is just this idea that you execute and continue practicing for over 10,000 hours to pretty much master your craft and better develop your skills. So yeah, and a lot of them saying that takes about from 7 to 10 years working 8 hours every day. And they also talk about other musicians, how they would practice anywhere from 3 to 8 hours a day every single day just to get into more prestigious schools and things of that nature. And they even go into how with cutoffs, actually. So like in Canada, they have hockey. They said January 1st apparently is a cutoff date. But because the players were able to be put into these different groups. So if your cutoff was January 1st, usually if you were born on January 1st, you were technically the oldest out of that whole cutoff year to be in. So you had that slight advantage that made you go into the higher tier group. But because the higher tier group also did more performances or more games, they had more practices. So over time, that started when they're 10, but once they hit 18, 19 years old, they're more likely to actually go into the professional NHL and actually become, go pro. But not just because of specifically January 1st, but that was a correlation with it. It was because they had more time to actually practice. Again, with the higher tier groups, because they were deemed better because they were, a bit more mature than their counterparts who, imagine when you're 10 years old, a 1 year age difference makes a really big deal. So with them being, in January 1st or January, February, and March, they had a higher advantage, and that slight advantage allowed them to be in the higher tiers, which then from there allowed them to have more games to play and more practice time. And then over time, that actually added up to even more and more significant advantages over other people. So yeah, that's really just the 10,000 hour rule of practicing and really mastering your craft. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to hit a like button, or just like if you guys really enjoyed. If you guys are currently working on Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers, please let me know your thoughts on the book, or if you just wanted to learn about the 10,000 hour rule. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.